How is everybody? Hello. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw on a stream really quick. I got this turbo set here. This is my first turbo set that I've worked on. It's quite busy. This is only one of the boards. The other one sits on top, or this sits on top of the other board. This is a Z80. This thing here, big Z80 processor. Yeah. Hey, Eric. Happy holidays. For sure. Yeah, we're right about there, aren't we? Yeah, so like I said, I thought I'd just kind of throw the computer on and do this. It's around Christmas. I don't do this often, this live streaming thing, so figured I'd go ahead and do it. Why not? This is a Z80. This great big thing, I believe, is a Z80. No, this is it's a big Z80 processor. I don't know. It's weird. Turbo is kind of it's very busy. It's a very busy board. It's got a ton of stuff going on. This is actually the top board. There's a CPU board, and then we have this. This is called the P-ROM board, the PROM board, program ROM board. So apparently all the program is on this guy. This one sits underneath this one, and then the soundboard plugs into right here and sits right on top of this. Apparently, I suppose. Very busy board set. I got a customer who sent two of them in to be fixed. And like I said, this is my first turbo. So I do have the manual, and I kind of briefly just looked at it for a minute. This really, even though there's a lot going on, I don't really think it's that complicated, to be honest. I think a lot of people see this and they're like, holy crap, what the heck's this all about? It's a Z80. From what I can tell, it is simply a Z80 processor, which I want to remove. And these screws are all completely rusted on here. So I want to remove those. So I'm going to see if I can't manage to get those off. I might end up cutting these screws off. They're so rusted, I don't think I'm going to be able to get them off. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, no, suddenly I looked at the manual because I wanted to know what this was before I got into these turbo boards because I don't like working on boards that have custom chips. I mean, the one exception is the Midway Customs with Galaga and stuff like that, because I've worked on those enough that I kind of know what to expect, what they do, what how they work and that kind of thing. But I'm not really interested in um getting out of my comfort zone and getting into the JAMA era stuff where they went to a lot of proprietary stuff. I'm not interested in that. But this, I wanted to know what this was. So I looked in the schematic, and apparently it is simply a Z80 processor. Jackie Kraft, I don't think so. Maybe I don't think they did, but because I have seen these, I've seen turbo boards with a simple Z80 plugged into the socket. So, and in the schematic, it clearly says Z80A. That is IC something. IC 91. IC 91. That don't sound right. Yeah. Yeah, Todd, I'm looking for it in the schematic right now. I don't think it's one of those encrypted chips. I mean, it could be, and that would suck if it is, but I don't think it is. But I'm having a hard time. Here we go. Yeah. IC91 Z80A. IC91. It just simply says Z80A. And the pinout, if I look at the pinout really quick, it is pinned like a Z80A. So I believe that's just a simple Z80A disguised as a encrypted secret chip. I mean, that's what it looks like. I do want to remove it. And like I said, I've seen these boards. I've done a little bit of looking, and I've seen these boards with just a regular Z80A in that socket. So we're trying to get this off of here. I'm gonna have to run and grab some vice grips and maybe even some penetrating oil, some blaster, something like that. Spray those down a little bit. Clamp on. I want to clamp onto these rusted nuts with the vice grips and see if I can't get that thing out of there. Be right back. Yeah, got me some WD-40. Crap. I think that's going to probably break. Yeah, that's so rusted. Yeah, that don't want to come off. Well, that one's get that one anyway. Damn. So how's everyone's day going? Everybody working? Hi, Chad. How you doing? Chad from New York. New York. So I got one screw that's going to be a problem. These are so rusted out. Straight to the garbage with you. Straight to the trash with you. All right. Yeah, I could just get under here and break the board. Why not? It'll be all right. Okay, this one I'm going to have to use a Dremel to cut off, I think, because it won't turn. I give it one more shot. I got another one of these too. Yeah, that won't turn. That's done. So I'm gonna have to cut that one off. Let me go get my Dremel and cutter. Be right back. It's going to be a lot of this, maybe, of me getting up and doing it. I'm always having to get something. Good stuff. Of course, that thing falls right in my lap. And it's smoking. Fell right in my lap. Smoking. Always protect your eyes, kids. You only get one set. All right. There we go. Yeah, there's definitely some circuitry in this. I would say. I don't know. This thing's a mystery. Hmm. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, Jackie. I'll be washing this thing. This thing's gonna get a good cleaning. It's pretty dirty. It's pretty filthy. Pretty filthy. Hmm. This definitely looks like this thing definitely looks like it's probably some encrypted brain, kind of like Burger Time. It looks like it's probably got some encryption. I'm not positive, but it looks like it kind of. I would love to have one of these to sacrifice and try to depot. Anyone know if if this has been remade? Oh, Chad. Okay, that's good. Chad just left a message that you can work around this by using a Z80 and changing the code in 3 of the EPROMs, which is a better, which is a much better solution. So what I think I'm going to do with this repair is I hope one of these is bad so that I can dissect this. I'll put it in the oven. I'll get an oven and put out. So I don't want to heat this up in my house, but I'll put like an oven of some sort outside and I'll heat this thing up to hell degrees and see if I can't depot this thing. But that is if it's broke. You know, even I don't know if it'd be worth sacrificing one of these. It probably would be worth sacrificing one of those to reverse engineer it and duplicate it. That would be kind of cool. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I hate to ruin something that's good. So if one is bad, I will definitely do that. If one of these turns out to be no good, I 100% will duplicate this board. Someone has to do it, right? Even though it's not really necessary because if you can just change the code and work around it, then that's probably the best thing to do. But there's something about having original code that I like. I like having the original factory code. I do like that. So I don't know. We'll see. Jackie, what is MEK? I've never heard of that. Hi, Patrick. That is something that I will research, though. I'll research the workaround code, Chad. Thanks for mentioning that. So that really makes it easy, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, these three right here, Chad, are probably what you're talking about. These are probably the main program ROM. So you probably methyl ethyl ketone. Methyl ethyl ketone. That's awesome, Patrick. Yeah, I don't know much about that Pac-Man Plus thing. Hello, Claudio in Italy, my Italian friend. All right, I'll look into that MEK. Um, yeah, I don't know anything about it. It sounds like it's some pretty heavy duty stuff, though. Ah, okay, what are we doing here? I got that thing off. I kind of want to strip this board completely down. These things need to be washed, but I'm glad I got that off anyway. And we will have to clean this. Somebody looks like somebody soldered it, the connectors, but there's a lot of residue left over. There's a good chance that the reason why these boards are dead is because of this. But it's definitely some kind of an encrypted thing. So, yeah, it's all good. Also got this with it, soundboard with the dead note. So that'll be nice. We got a dead soundboard and two mainboard sets. So all right. You know what I need to do? I need to, because we're building a harness for this, so I can't do anything without the harness, but I did want to just remove that. Kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with here. Other than that, though, logically, this doesn't look that complex. It really doesn't. So now the soundboard's another story. That soundboard is insane with all the discrete circuitry and stuff. But if it's completely dead, we're going to check for clocks on it. And there is basic logic that drives it. It's probably clocking logic and stuff that drives it. Bunch of amps. 82S23 bipolars, decoders. Yeah, there's just some basic logic and then a ton of amps and stuff like that. Caps and amps. Just a bunch of analog, discrete stuff. Boy, these MB3614s, there's a billion of those on here. MB3614, I think I have a lot of those. I don't know. But there's a ton of those on here. Some timers from 555 timers. Got some TL081 amps. And like I said, other than that, there's a lot of logic down here that is going to be driving everything. So that really, even though this says dead on it, don't let that scare you. This isn't that big of a deal. You're going to, each one of these is going to correlate, each section of this is going to correlate to a sound. And if it's completely dead, there could be some kind of a logic or logic from the board. This thing might not even be dead. It might be the logic from the main boards driving this. So, yeah, that's not a big deal. We'll get to it. But first, I need to find the wiring diagram. Yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot of bad amps. Resistors very super rarely go bad. Diodes super rarely go bad in my experience. It's unless it's in a power circuit, something like that. But like those kind of diodes and signal diodes like that, rarely I see. There's a lot of tantalum capacitors. There's an awful lot of tantalum caps on here, and those like to short. There's an awful lot of electrolytic caps on here. The radial leaded ones, they like to go open. And then there's a billion amps on here. And amps are problematic. But yeah, these littler tantalums I don't worry about. It's the bigger ones. The bigger ones that have a higher voltage potential on them, those are the ones that short. If it's got a like a 15 volts on it or an 18 volts or something like that, those are the ones that short. And a lot of times you can't tell they're short. It'll look perfectly fine, but it's shorted. What I do when I'm starting to work on a board like this is I'll take my meter and I just test all of the tantalums and see if they're shorted. Yeah. All right. Cabinet wiring. I actually think there's something in here that's better what I'm looking for. Yeah, no, that cabinet wiring. I'm gonna have to decipher that cabinet wiring diagram. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a notepad, start taking some notes. Because I want to transfer what I see here onto my notepad. Yeah, Sonally Deluxe. I agree. There will be bad parts on that thing. It just is what it is. I will probably just do a complete recap on that thing because it's those for whatever reason it's those damn radial caps, and especially the low value ones, just love to go open. So I don't know. I'll probably just recap the whole thing, and then maybe for fun we'll just go through and test them all. You know, at some point. This is going to be a separate video. I'm going to do a proper repair video on these turbos. This is just kind of a hangout with you guys. It's almost Christmas. Say hi. Go a little over a little bit of the process of how I set up a repair that I'm doing and like this kind of stuff. Pretty simple stuff, but it's necessary. And this kind of stuff can take a whole day of prep, just getting ready. I got to build a harness. It's my first turbo, so I have to build the harness. I like to study the circuitry a little bit, kind of know what I'm looking at, type of thing. Kind of get an idea of what's going on with it. All right. Okay. Yeah, here we go. A, B, C, D, and E is on the other board. G. So we look at this board. We have A right here. B. C is this big long one. C, D. Okay. There's the two interconnects going to the P around the prom board, the two interconnects. And this is going to the soundboard right here. This one. Nope, that's the assembly LED board. That's probably this. 50 position, yeah. And then here we go. This little guy right here is this one. Going to the soundboard. Here's the soundboard. And then here we have E. This E connector is on the other big board. And it looks like this. It looks like D. It looks like this one. It's like a 5 position or something like that. And I don't know if that's video. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's video. Red, green, blue, sync, and ground. So that other connector is your video connector on the other board. So I'm going to label, I'm going to say here's A. $80 tantalums, Jackie. What kind what values did you get and what format were they through hole, surface mount? All right. A. A is power. A is power. One, two, three, 1 to 4 is plus 5. 5 is plus 12. And it looks like 6 is negative 12. And then the rest of them look like ground. So 8 through 12 is ground. So that's A. B. B looks like it goes to the steering wheel. I'm not worrying about that right now. So I'm just going to write steering. Now eventually I will have to come up with something. I'm going to have to come up with something to test that steering. And I do have a Monaco GP steering board, and I think it's probably going to be similar to that. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. And if it is, then yeah, I can just use that for steering. And C is just more control stuff. Hmm. All right, so I got power. Power and video is really all I need to start with. And C is a bunch of coin meters coming off of that and some other stuff, and I'm having a hard time reading that. I don't know. This in So that's C. D. D is power input. It looks like 5 volts unregulated and ground. All right, let's write that down. D. C is yeah, I don't know. I can't really tell what this is. Acceleration mechanism. Yeah, input stuff. Yeah, tantalums are not cheap. $1.22 is actually kind of cheap for a tantalum cap, to be honest. Take care, Seneley. Thanks for stopping by. And D, we had as 1 and 2 is ground, and 4 and 5 equals plus 5 unregulated. Yeah. Hmm. Which is kind of it's that this voltage right here is totally separate. It's totally separate from the 5 volts that is from the regulator PCB, from the linear power supply in the game. So this is a completely different winding off the transformer, providing this voltage. I think it says +8. It's hard to say. Yeah, so then you got this regulator board here. Hmm. This turbo game had a switching power supply in it. It had a 10 amp switching power supply. That's a pretty heavy duty switcher. It looks like it was just for 5 volts. 5 volt The 5 volt supply came from a switching power supply. because I'm looking at the schematic and I'm like, okay, it's got it's got what looks like just line voltage going into it. Yeah, there's a bunch of here's the regulator unit. Yeah, I don't know. This schematic makes no sense. It has a separate regulator unit for 12 volts, negative 12 volts. Yeah, interesting. Okay. I think I got enough to start, at least start piecing together something. So I'll go ahead and grab some wires. Hmm. I might need longer wire. Yeah, kind of an odd one here. Yeah. Hmm. This will be 12 and negative 12. So I'm going to use 3 wires for 5 volts. I got 12, negative 12, and I need ground. gray wires for ground. And then I got this. I'll worry about this later. And then we need video. Charlie, what's up? Yes, it has no gas. So we got red, green. I'm using gray for blue. Sync, ground. All right. Okay. Oh, you know what? Oh, this is not good. Oh, this is not good. This is my container for Trifurcon pens. I have none. But I do have this if you want. This is the part number for Mauser. Trifurcon pens. Cheap. Get them directly from Mauser. So, well, how is everyone doing? Everyone about ready for Christmas? Because I can't do anything else because I don't have no pins to make this harness. Uh, yeah, what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, seriously, Chad. Bummer is right. Yeah, I'm messing around with the screen. Yeah, Patrick, I could do that, but I don't. I don't want to do that. I would rather just wait and buy the pins. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Mike. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll move on to. I'll do something different. I got plenty that I can work on. Um, 0.154 Molex. A lot of stuff going out of business. And my crimp pens don't seem to be around here. Hmm. All right. Well, let's just type in that number.